as we've discussed before, Bitcoin is designed to be attacked. When the EU says we need to attack the price of Bitcoin, that is music to Bitcoiners' ears, because all attacks mean greater hash rate, greater security, and higher prices. It's designed to be attacked. The more you attack it, the higher the price goes. So we welcome the EU's attacks and the IMF and Christine Lagarde and central banks and Federal Reserve Bank. Please attack me so that my price can go to $100,000, $200,000, $1 million a coin. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Wealthy Value. In today's video, Max Keiser updates about Bitcoin as the new global standard by replacing fiat currency, EU proposal to ban Bitcoin due to its environmental impacts, and adoption of Bitcoin as a legal tender by countries worldwide. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video, where Max Keiser and Stacy Herbert talk about the beginning of a new Bitcoin era, along with an updated Bitcoin price prediction. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the post notifications. Let's dive right into the video.
Right, so somebody should do a screen for countries with populations under 10 million that don't have their own currency, and that would be a good hit list for the next to become Bitcoin as legal tender.
Except for a hit list, of course, is the economic hitmen may show up there. And I'm sure they're already thinking about that, of how to stop this from happening. Because, of course, as we discussed at the top of the show, the EU, this is their now policy that has been leaked, is that they want to stop Bitcoin adoption under the guise of saying it's environmentally friendly.
But as we've discussed before, Bitcoin is designed to be attacked. When the EU says we need to attack the price of Bitcoin, that is music to Bitcoiners' ears, because all attacks mean greater hash rate, greater security, and higher prices. It's designed to be attacked. The more you attack it, the higher the price goes. So we welcome the EU's attacks and the IMF and Christine Lagarde and central banks and Federal Reserve Bank. Please attack me so that my price can go to $100,000, $200,000, $1 million a coin. Thank you. Right, well, there's a lot of French African countries like Cameroon, Gabon, Ivory Coast, to name three, and a couple of others. And they're all former French colonies, and they're all using French currency. And so this country definitely is going to resonate in all those countries. So if you put these two together, that's 7 million and 5 million. That's right. That's 12 million is now on Bitcoin. And they're all part of the global population. So the populations of countries that are now on Bitcoin standard in the last 2 days has almost doubled. So the EU is saying, if Ethereum can change the code and make themselves less carbon intensive, then so should Bitcoin. And we're going to need to attack the price of Bitcoin. The only thing that these Bitcoiners understand is price. We're going to attack the price, and we're going to support Ethereum. So this is what's going on here over there at the EU. The Swedish financial regulator and the EU Commission discussed the possibility of banning Bitcoin and proof of work due to its environmental impact. This, of course, is insanity, because what the EU is doing is they're removing themselves from the race to become Bitcoinized and hyper-Bitcoinization, whereas, as you point out, they're all over Africa, the colonies of the EU.
That's market manipulation, right? And it does lend credence to the long-held theory that there's all this manipulation of the gold price. And it's easier for them because the central banks own a lot of gold. Now, they don't own a lot of Bitcoin, and they can't control your private keys. There are all sorts of Bitcoin ETFs, even in Europe and other parts of the world. Certainly not in the US yet, but there is of course, a futures Bitcoin ETF. So, what they're suggesting is that they would target the Bitcoin price and in order to obviously gaslight people. But that's market fraud, right?
This idea of attacking the price of Bitcoin, as you say there, it reveals the EU as being anti-free markets and to a great extent anti-free speech, because they've also voiced objection to Elon Musk and his takeover of Twitter because they don't believe in unfettered free speech. They don't believe in free markets and free enterprise. So they're really, really getting back to their roots as socialists and communists in the European Union, heavily bureaucratic, royalists, top-down monarchies and bureaucrats. Yeah, it's like the global South, right? Because the U.S. If you go south, you find Central America and Latin America.
Yeah.
In Europe, you go south and you find Africa.
Yeah.
You know, so and it's colonies in the south. And so this
Ex-colonies.
Ex-colonies. So these ex-colonies in Africa are busting free of the French and their influence on their currency. And over here in Central and South America, they're busting free of the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. And their influence on their economy and their currency. So it's the BRICS and the global south. I mean, they're making this huge Bitcoin-enabled move. They've been waiting hundreds and hundreds of years for an opportunity to establish their own sovereignty. Just a couple of days ago, we're talking about El Salvador and Bitcoin adoption in El Salvador. People were saying, well, you know, the adoption rate is not happening as fast as people want it to happen. And I said, look, I mean, it's global FOMO. I said, look, probably a country in Africa will be the next to announce Bitcoin as legal tender. And I said that 3 or 4 days ago.
Once you go Bitcoin, you never go back.
Right. The right people are saying negative things about Bitcoin, like IMF and central banks and stuff like that. So these countries take notice, and then when they hear Christine Lagarde or the EU speak negatively about Bitcoin, they perk up. They're like, if they hate it, it's probably something we should look at. So the more they talk, the worse it gets for them. We're at the beginning of a new era, that is for sure. So we're just finding our way in this new beginning, this new era, this Bitcoin era, the end of the 40-year era of financialization, the Reagan-Thatcher era. Thatcherism, Reaganism started in early 1980. I think that's finished. It's over now in 2022. So we're into a new era. This is like the Bukele era. If a country makes Bitcoin legal tender, there's no downside. The only thing they have is they get instant recognition and that people are talking about them. They have the possibility to connect with this global monetary network, that there's absolutely no downside. So, and it's easy to do. Just write a law that takes 5 minutes that says we just made Bitcoin legal tender, and
plug in your full node.
Yeah, there's only upside to it. So I think that's a lot of countries, once they realize that there's absolutely no risk to your country in making Bitcoin legal tender, that they'll just be like, why not? You know, there's only upside to this. And so they'll just be doing it.
It'll be the ones that can print money that are the last, the US and Europe and Japan.
Yeah.
So those are the last. They have a huge quintillionaire class.
But that's like the North, right? The global North.
Yeah.
Is now the world is turning, and the North will be on the bottom and the South will be on the top. So that's part of, cycles, the Thucydides trap we mentioned, and the Triffin dilemma, and all these cyclical events and different epochs come and go, and the planets are orbiting and the satellites are orbiting and asteroids are coming and Halley's Comet is back. And by the way, the global South is now going to be running the show, and the global North is in decline, based on this Bitcoin standard and the collapse of all the infrastructure that's been keeping things going for the last 40 years plus.
So what are your thoughts about Max Keiser's perspective on Bitcoin, a new global standard? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.